Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get.
David, thank you for letting me harass you, my friend.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate
Glad
it.
to be here.
Now, David, during your career and since retiring, you've continued to be very open about your love of discipline. I think it actually excites you, maybe. You being self-disciplined and having structure, high expectations, and offering a high degree of service.
Absolutely.
And so as we talk about the art of leadership, why are you into discipline? Let's start with principle number 1, discipline. In your mind, what does it mean to have discipline in your life?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to have a structure, a sense of order. And, I think sometimes we get too spread out. We want to do 1,000 things. It's hard to do 1,000 things. It's hard to do 2 things.
Yeah.
It's easy to do one thing and then do another thing and then do another thing. So discipline just helps you get from point A to point B.
Why is it important that as a leader, we have an extremely high degree of self-discipline? Because just an example, if I own a business and I'm watching this right now, if you're watching this right now, you might not consider yourself to be a leader, but you have 4 people that work for you. So if you're leading 4 people, if you look back and there's 4 people following you, then you are now a leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why is it so important that the leader is so disciplined?
Well, I mean, there's different people, I think, have a disciplined personality. I'm not particularly overly disciplined as an individual, but I understand the importance of discipline and structure. So I bring those things in, and I like to surround myself with people who are disciplined. So my assistant really must be disciplined, very focused. My wife happens to be very disciplined and very focused, but I'm smart enough to know that needs to be in my life. And so I think, going to the Naval Academy, they taught me the importance of discipline. They taught me the importance of structure. A lot of times other people's lives depend on you when you're on a submarine or you're out in the battlefield. If you don't do your job, the person next to you is going to suffer. And I learned that in a very strong term. And so I try to apply that to everything that I do now. I know that the person next to me is counting on me. If I'm the leader, these guys' livelihoods are counting on me doing my job. If I'm the follower, then my discipline is really important for the functioning of the organization. And as I grow, then I become more and more important role.
Well, two things I want to bring up, because this is huge. I'll give you an example. There's a guy I worked with about 5 years ago. He's a home builder. And he has a marketing calendar, okay? So the idea is that every Monday, these letters, these mailers are supposed to go out. And then let's say every Wednesday, his team's supposed to go to these networking events. And every Friday, they're supposed to, go ahead and pay for the billboard that goes up on the road. And there's marketing activities that had to happen every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then he has a staff meeting on a Tuesday, and he has a staff meeting on a Thursday. These are things that just have to happen. They're sort of like the rocks. It's like your mortgage. You have to pay it.
Absolutely.
And every time, and I say 85% of the time that I would meet with the guy, he'd just say, "How was your staff meeting?" "Oh, I didn't do it." How'd the mailers go? "Well, I didn't have time to send it out." "Well, how are the billboards working?" "Well, I didn't do it this month." And there was no discipline. And then you look at the end of the
no business.
So there is no business. And so it's kind of a cause and effect thing.
Right.
And I'm wondering, why is it that in business today, the law of cause and effect is not more commonly, because I know that I know for me, I'm not talking about you people, I'm talking about me too. I know when I was starting my business, I had about 2 or 3 years when I first started, and I was, there was no bottom to how poor I was getting. We turned off the air conditioning. We didn't have any air conditioning in Tulsa. It was, I didn't have any customers, and I didn't have any discipline. So why is it that maybe I at that age didn't see the cause and effect of having discipline and
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult. I think, as a young person, you tend to get by. You tend to think that you can do the minimum amount of work and be successful, or at least survive.
Yeah.
But when you get into a professional situation and you get into a situation where other people are actually counting on you, you begin to learn that structure is very key. So, you have to really teach yourself that. Teach yourself, because you can't let those things slip through the cracks. I mean, even when in sports, everyone talks about, I want to win, I want to be a champion. Yeah, but do you want to do the things it takes to become a champion? Because everybody says they want to win. Everybody says they want to win a championship. But guess what? It takes step by step by step by step. We've got to build the right organization. We've got to work hard. We've got to build, a culture that creates champions. There's only one or two teams that can even fight for that championship at the end of the year. Everyone else goes home.
So let's say this, the Dream Team photo, the original Dream Team, you were on the team. You and Scottie Pippen were like Greek physiques at this point in your lives. You guys were in great shape. Now, I would speculate there was days that you did not want to lift weights.
Oh, absolutely.
There was probably mornings where you traveled from LA, you're coming back to San Antonio, you're tired, now the alarm goes off, But I'm just speculating. To get that sort of physique that you and Scotty and Karl Malone and these different Dream Teamers had, you guys were in the gym.
Constantly.
Did you have an accountability partner? The reason why I'm asking this is, what do I need to do right now if I'm watching this and I'm fired up and I say, you know what, I don't have discipline in my life.
Right.
And I want to take the leap to get as serious about my career as you were about the weight room, or as serious as Karl Malone was about the weight room, or how do I take that leap? What do I need to do?
You have to know your personality. You have to know something about yourself. I know about myself that, I was afraid to fail. I did not want to fail. So the Naval Academy taught me how to prepare. And so it wasn't a problem for me preparing. I knew if there was 6 weeks left before the season, man, I better be in shape. There was no way I was coming to the season not being prepared to play. A lot of guys did that. They just came in, they felt like, I'll get in shape during training camp. That's usually not a great idea, but I knew myself well enough to know that there are certain things, like I said, maybe in some areas of discipline, I'm not as particularly good, so I needed to have people around me. If I needed a trainer, I got that trainer.
When you played, did you have an accountability partner you worked out with? Do you have like a player that you worked out with?
No, trainers.
Trainers.
When I played, the trainers were my accountability guys. I set up the times and I knew I had to be there. And so I would work out with those guys during the summers and during the season. So I was 25, 30 pounds at least less than every center I played. So if I didn't have the strength and the physical ability to fight with a guy like Shaquille O'Neal was almost 100 pounds more than me. So if I didn't carry myself in that way, I was going to get beat down. So I didn't have a choice. Every day I had to prepare myself, and I knew that, I don't care whether it was a Mark Eaton or whether it was a Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, all of them, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. Eaton was maybe 45 pounds heavier than me.
Really?
So I didn't have a choice in the matter. I had to prepare myself. And I think that when we get that sense of urgency, know what it takes to be successful in your business. And once you get that sense of urgency and you understand, if I don't do these things, if I don't send these mailers out, it's not going to happen. Then that will provide the impetus. And if you need somebody, a trainer that pokes you every day and says, send them out, send them out, send them out, then that's what you need to put in place.
And I think this is huge. I think you're helping. There's somebody watching this right now who's just having light bulbs go off. And I just want to give an example, though. I hired a guy when we were building Thrive 27 months ago to help me on some core issues. Then I had a mentor that would come in to meet with me every Thursday who had built a company he was part of a team that grew a company from about 20 million of revenue to 2 billion of revenue. And I knew, well, if I could have that sort of mentorship in my life, it would happen, because I've never built something that big before. So I brought on a coach and a mentor.
Right.
So if you're watching this right now and you're a business owner, you can hire a mentor. There's advisors.
Absolutely.
There's outside consultants.
Absolutely.
You can have those people. And when you built Carver, did you hire some outside consultants to help you?
Oh, absolutely. From each step. We built it from scratch. So at the beginning, I went out and got a bunch of educators. So how would I build a school? Where are we going with this? And then once we built the school, I had to go out and get some people to help me with a long-term strategic plan. So I had some friends who were in business school at at Duke University at the Fuqua Business School come down and put together a long-term strategic plan for me and help me to walk through this process. And then when it was time to grow it to the next level, I got together a team of people and said, how do we build from one school into 20 schools? And they helped me think through that process. And now we're part of the IDEA Public School Network. We're building 20 schools here in San Antonio. We've already opened 3. We got 2 more opening this year. And we're growing at a tremendous pace.
There's a member of the Thrive Mentor team. His name is Tim Redmond. And if you're watching this is just an example. If you don't have any capital, I know I didn't have capital when I started my first business. I had zero money. I worked construction to save up the first $20,000. There's people like that, like Tim, where they'll say, hey, for 5% of your gross revenue, I will basically be your accountability partner and coach you to growth. And there's people like that. So don't feel like if you don't have the money right now that you can't do it. There's a way to barter, there's a way to trade. Right. You have to start with what you have.
Absolutely. If you have a great idea, then you have to pursue it because there are people out there that will support you. One of the things, one of my heroes was George Washington Carver, and he said, start where you are, use what you have, make something of it, and never be satisfied. And so that's kind of been one of my motivating statements in my life.
Now I don't want to miss this point because George Washington Carver was so fabulous. But one of the things that he did that I don't think a lot of people realize is that he didn't have any books. Dave, right? Until he was what, 12?
Like 12 years old. Yeah, he had just a Bible. That was his only book. And so he grew up as a slave. His family members were abducted as a child. He had very little going for him.
One book.
He was very sickly too as a young man, and so he used what he had, and he became very proficient in nature because that was the one thing he could do. He could go out and go for walks. So he'd go out in the morning and walk through, and he'd sit there and study the trees and study the plants. So he became an amazing botanist. He used what he had at the time, and as he grew, he added whatever resources he could find.
So if you have a Bible and you're not a slave, you have no excuse.
Yeah, right? Clearly. I mean, that's what we use with our students at Carver. We say, no excuses, please. Whatever your situation is, Carver had a worse situation. He used what he had and he made the most of it, and you can do the same.
Love that. Now, the principle number 2 is structure. What does this concept of structure mean to you? When you say you have discipline over here, that's me as a person, being disciplined, and then you have structure. What does it mean to set up the right company structure?
Well, a great picture of structure, and back to a sports analogy, but a great picture of structure is a football field, for example. If I know where the out of bounds are and I know where the goal line is, it's really easy to draw up plays. If we got a gigantic open field and I don't even know where I'm going, really makes it difficult for me to plan. And so you need a structure, you need a framework with which to work. And if you can draw up the field and narrow down the parameters a little bit, it will help you so much making a play. I can tell my receiver, run 5 yards and then go out, or 25 yards and then go deep. We need something deep. But without the lines on the field, how do I know where to go down to the stump or somewhere around the stump and then turn around? It helps you with your planning.
There's a business that comes to my mind that I met at a convention. I spoke in. I was another home builder, and he was telling his marketing person, "Well, we want to get out there, and you want to see enough people, and you want to say the right things." This is literally what was said.
Right.
See enough of the right people and say the right things. And so their marketing person's going out every day just getting clubbed to death. And so finally I'm like, hey, time out, because I'm speaking and I'm meeting these people for this little dinner engagement. And I said, they're like arguing, they're talking about each other, and I'm in the middle and I'm like, oh. And I said, let's get into it for a second. Specifically, ma'am, where have you been going? Because he's saying go see the right people, say the right things. Where do you go? And she's like, well, I do a lot of networking in this area. And the owner's like, why would you do that? You could never possibly find somebody who wants to build a house there. And she's like, well, I don't know. I didn't know. And so I think it's important that the business owners, we have to look at ourselves.
Right.
We can't look at our employees and say, well, you're not being resourceful enough.
Yeah.
We need to provide that structure.
Well, it's very much a function of leadership.
Okay.
Making sure that your employees know where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
And if you, sometimes in the beginning especially, if you drop too much stuff, that's probably a better thing than to have not enough stuff. People can learn to be creative later. But at the beginning, at least give them so much structure that at least they can see this is where I need to go. And that's why I love mentors, because I can follow someone. I can see what's happening. It gives me parameters. It helps me learn. And then if I want to step outside the box, I can do that on my own.
I know with my entertainment company, when we would DJ weddings, you can imagine the nightmare. I would hire you to DJ for us, okay? And you have no experience. That was the prerequisite, okay? So I'm teaching you how to run the sound and the lights, and a lot of people are afraid of public speaking. Mm-hmm. And now you have to announce, ladies and gentlemen, up next, the cake. And you have to get people dancing and creating this fun atmosphere. And I would tell the guys, I could just hear it, I'm haunting myself. I used to tell the guys, just be funny. Dave, just go be funny.
That's not an easy thing to necessarily do.
Say,
here's my jokes. Here's this, here's how you get people in. So if the more structure you can give them, the better. I mean, when we brought guys into our team, especially free agents into our team, we would give them every detail and what they needed to do. So
almost too much.
Too much, really. This is your role is going to be confined. And we've got talent. We've got people who are doing the main things. We just need you to do this. I know you can do more than rebound. Bruce Bowen came into our team, was a great scorer in high school, but we know you can score. But that's not what we need for you to do right now.
Yeah.
And over time, Bruce became a big time scorer for us, and he hit big shots for us. But initially we gave him a lot of structure and refined, what his job was, so that he could gain confidence and then build into becoming a bigger key for our team.
If you're watching this right now and you don't have structure, don't feel bad. I just want to make sure you hear me, because I had 5 years before I even wrote down what songs worked. Now, when people started working for me later down the road, they said, well, you play Brick House, and after that, you play that funky music. And you want to play some Billie Jean, because that just kind of flows in together. And then Rapper's Delight will beat match right with Billie Jean.
Well, there you go.
And then people would, and it was easy, almost paint by numbers. But at first, I would just tell guys, be funny, Dave, just be funny. So it's a good thing that you didn't apply for a DJ job back during that period of time.
I would have struggled for a little bit. I would have had to come up with my own plan. But I think if you know what your company and your organization is about, it is great just to lay down some guidelines. People love guidelines. It's like children. They love rules because it helps them to know, if they're going to break the rules, that's a conscious decision. I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to go out and break it. Yeah. But at least they know where the rule is. So
should everybody watching this, every small business owner, should we make a handbook for our staff? Is this what we should do right now to make structure?
Oh,
what should we do?
Absolutely. And you can make it, you can start off with a skeleton at first, but yeah, fill in the holes. Don't be afraid to give too much guidance. I would say, it really helps people when they come in. I would make it as detailed as you possibly could. Walk people through, treat them like a child when they first come in until they prove themselves, and then give them some more leeway. But certainly, anything you can give them helps when they come in.
Now, principle number 3, and this is one that I'm excited to ask you about. I have been thinking about this one because it's called high expectations. And David, you had a 1320. Is that real? A score of 1320 on your SAT.
Yes, yeah.
And then you played the saxophone.
I tried. It was ugly, but yeah.
Okay.
I still blow on it.
Now, you apparently could hit a baseball either way, like ambidextrous, left or right.
Yeah, both hands, yes.
And then you won 2 gold medals.
Yes.
And you had a bronze. We don't talk about the bronze too much.
No, I like the bronze.
You like the bronze?
It was a great experience. I mean, it's the Olympics. So It was my first Olympics. It was a phenomenal experience. And do you want to win the gold? Absolutely. And it was, we hadn't lost a gold medal except for the controversial 1972 team. But it was a little bit embarrassing to be that team that didn't win the gold, but at the same time, it was an Olympic experience, and it was phenomenal being a part of that Olympics, and it was a learning experience. And you've had 2 NBA championships. Mm-hmm.
So when you say high expectations, I maybe am watching this going, oh no, he's going to want me to win a gold medal or a bronze, or he's going to. But when you say high expectations, just give me some real talk. If I'm on the other end of this camera here and I'm a small business owner, What do you want me, when you say set high expectations, what does that mean?
Well, I think you have to reach beyond what you think is you're capable of. I think you need to, if you can accomplish it, if you think that next week I can have such and such and such done, then it's probably too low. You need to dream a little bit. You need to set your expectations high, but you also have to be prepared for failure. I mean, that's a part of growth process. I think that's where most people fail, is that they struggle when they don't reach those expectations. If I didn't get the gold medal, I'm a failure. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Taking that bronze medal home. A lot of guys hung their heads. Some guys even left their medals in the room. They didn't even want to take them home.
Really?
But for me, taking that bronze medal home, it was an incredibly proud accomplishment because I poured myself into that. I did what I was supposed to do. The fact that it didn't go the way that I planned, wasn't entirely my fault. But at the same time, it was something we built together. We did it together. And I was very proud of that accomplishment, even though it was a disappointment for a lot of people.
A lot of people watching this, I don't think that you're aware. If you're watching this, I don't think you're aware of this, but Walt Disney, who we celebrate as being a champion of business and a champion of creativity, right. He lost it all twice. Henry Ford lost it all 5 times. Tesla, their founder, Elon Musk, just recently started SpaceX a few years back, and they launched 3 shuttles, or 3 missiles, or not missiles, but rockets into space that blew up. They didn't make it to orbit. And you go on, and if you talk about success is at the other end of that failure.
Absolutely.
And so we definitely want to set high expectations, but we want to learn from it.
Right.
And there's a quote that I love from Napoleon Hill, the success author, and he says that behind every failure, there's a seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Yeah. You can learn from that. And so you set these high expectations, but you actually said this. You said during an interview one time, you'd said that your NBA championship didn't validate you as a person.
Right. No, absolutely.
Could you explain what you mean by that? Because again, it's kind of I think some people are watching this and we're trying to figure out, okay, you want me to set high expectations, but you said that it doesn't even validate you as a person to win a championship. What did you mean by that?
Well, I think sometimes we get too caught up in making our identity that goal. And the goal is not who you are. Who you are, you're expressing every single day. When you're building your business, when you're hiring people, when you're interacting with people, what you build along the way is there's all the value right there. It's how you spend yourself. If I'm raising kids, it's not so much how the kids turn out. It's what I built in them every single day. I mean, they're my legacy. They walk away carrying whatever's left of me out there into the world. So I think we have to look at our accomplishments and our business and our things by how we spend ourselves. And so I spent myself trying to get to that championship. And if I would have never gotten a championship, I would have still left a trail where people would have been tasting pieces of David everywhere, and good or bad. But that was me. That's what I did. I left out there.
What do you think about that never-ending NBA conversation they have? There's constant this constant discussion in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Sports, where they'll say, well, if such and such doesn't win a championship, he's not going to leave a legacy, or he's not going to be validated, or they basically seem like someone is a complete failure as a professional if they don't win a championship. What is your response to just that sort of logic?
I mean, it's ridiculous. Are we going to forget about Karl Malone, or are we going to forget about Charles Barkley because they don't have champions? It's ridiculous. Those guys were phenomenal competitors, legendary competitors, and great people, and they left a trail that there's no way we're going to ignore what they've done. So, certainly it doesn't validate them, and it doesn't invalidate them when they don't accomplish what they set out to do. But they had a tremendous journey. Their families right now are benefiting from the work that they've put in over the years, and clearly both of them have other businesses now that they've been able to move on to. You see Charles Barkley every week on television, and he's doing what he does best: talk. and Karl Malone is driving trucks around the country and doing other things. So those guys are going on to continue to leave legacies, and their children will carry on that. So. You can't get tied up in the outcome as much. You have passion, you have purpose. You're going to imprint that on everyone you're around.
What if I come from a place where my parents? No, my dad is a phenomenal guy, and my mom's a great person. But the reality is, we didn't have the financial resources to do things.
Right.
I don't think they knew I always tell people that success is like once you learn the combination to the lock, it's easy to unlock it.
Yeah.
But you have to, that's why I love the Carver so much, because you're teaching the kids the combination. But if I've never had high expectations, if I'm watching this, let's just say I'm a 40-year-old man, I'm watching this. And I'm at the other end of the camera and I've never had high expectations. So my inside of my car is a mess. The inside of my apartment's a mess. I am a mess. What would you say to me right now if I say, I like what you're saying here, I want to set high expectations? What would you say to me?
Well, I'd say step one, go find somebody that you admire.
Okay.
Go find somebody that's close to you, somebody that's in your church, somebody that's at your job, somebody who you see does have high expectations, is accomplishing something. It may not be they may not be making a ton of money, but their marriage is strong, or they're good parents, or they're efficient at what they do, and go sit with them. Pick their brain. Go find out why they are able to do what they do. And you'd be shocked how much you will learn from sitting around and being taught by someone, being mentored by someone. And you can incorporate, you may not be like them, you may not have the same traits, but you will pick up things in your life that will make you a better person.
When I watched your Hall of Fame induction speech, I had a man tear, and I'm not kidding. I'm one of those crier guys. I am a man bear pig, but I do, for some reason, certain times in movies, I cry. But I was watching it, and I really teared up because you got up there and you praised your wife. You praised Valerie in front of everybody. Then you proceeded to go down the line and praise your boys. And it became very apparent that your faith was very important. And at the end, you actually shared your faith with people at the end of your speech. But you put your faith there, you put your family there, and then, if we had some time to talk some basketball, you did that too. But you put that in that order. And I can say that I was maybe a B minus, not even a B, that's too generous. I was a C minus husband until my son was born blind. And when my son was born blind in 2007, it was an eye opener for me. I'd always set high expectations in business, but never in my family.
Right.
How important is it for people watching this? Because Thrive is about you thriving as a person, not just in terms of a business success.
Right.
How important is it if you're a man watching this or a woman watching this for you to set high expectations for your family?
Wow, that is a great question, because it's something we don't talk about enough, especially in business. Your family is your first line of defense. It's the very basic example of who you are. And if you don't do a good job in your family, then everything else you do is going to have a hollow tone to it. And so I don't think we emphasize that enough. I mean, the Bible's very clear. The family structure is more important than any structure. It's more important than the church. The church came later. The family came first. The family is a critical structure. But for each of us as an individual, for us to be a husband, it's the definer of your character. It's the defining point of your legacy.
And I'm ready for a verbal whiplash here. But if you were talking to me back in 2007, okay, this actually happened. I'm in the limo being driven to the city, to downtown Tulsa. They're giving me the award for the Entrepreneur of the Year for the state of Oklahoma from the Small Business Administration. And I'm driving there, and my wife looks over at me almost on the verge of a breakdown because I never saw her. Was never home.
Right.
Didn't call to check in. My daughter, I never really invested a lot of time in her at that point in my life. And I was basically a failing husband, but really good in business.
Yeah.
What would you have said to me if you were my friend or you were somebody who was speaking into my life right there? What would you, forget, career, what would you have said to me right there?
I would say, Clay, you're going to an award that a ceremony that awards you for reaching a high point in your career, yet here you are underneath the whole foundation of what you are is crumbling. So, but see, that's not the end of the story. That's the good news. The good news is that here you're presented with a great challenge and an opportunity to really make it right. This is you can still define your character. You can still define who you are by saying, I'm going to hang in there. I'm going to fight the good fight. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to build here. because like I said, that's going to be the thing that you're leaving with people. You're leaving with your children. You're leaving with everybody that knew you, everybody that has watched you. It's what you're going to be remembered for. Yeah, Clay was a really smart guy, but man, he was terrible with his family, and those are the people he spent the most time around. So that's not what you want to leave with people. You want people to say, "Hey, I saw Clay, man. He grew up as a man, as a husband. His wife was so tired of him, but man, he came home and he started loving on her, and man, it was like everything came together. It was incredible. I mean, you should have seen how he loved on her, and that's what they'll remember. They won't remember all of these different that I scored 20-something thousand points or 10,000 rebounds or whatever. What they're going to remember is how did he treat that guy in the front office? That guy from the front office is going to say, "Yeah, I knew David, and man, every day." He used to be nice to me. He used to come up and talk to me, and we used to have these great conversations, and that'll carry on through his family. And so those things I think are critical.
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old, but I've never had the two-time Heisman Award winning Tim Tebow come present. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Also, this is the first Thrive Time Show event that we've had where we're going to have a man who has built $100 million net worth.
Wow.
Who'll be presenting. Now, we've had a couple presenters that have had $1 billion net worth in some like real estate sort of things.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we've had a guy who's built a service business, and he's built over $100 million net worth in the service business. It's the yacht driving, multi-state living guru of franchising. Peter Taunton will be in the house. This is the founder of Snap Fitness, the guy behind 9 Round Boxing. He's going to be here in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. JT, why should everybody want to hear what Peter Taunton has to say?
Oh, because he's incredible. He's just a fountain of knowledge. He is awesome. He is inspired me listening to him talk. And not only that, he also has, he practices what he teaches. So he's a real teacher. He's not a fake teacher like business school teachers. So you got to come learn from him.
Also, let me tell you this, folks. I don't want to get this wrong because if I get it wrong, someone's going to say, you screwed that up, buddy. So Michael Levine, this is Michael Levine. He's going to be coming. You say, who's Michael Levine? I don't want to get this wrong. This is the PR consultant of choice for Michael Jackson, for Prince, for Nike, for Charlton Heston, for Nancy Kerrigan, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestselling authors he's represented, including pretty much everybody you know who's been a super celebrity. This is Michael Levine, a good friend of mine. He's going to come and talk to you about personal branding and the mindset needed to be super successful. The lineup will continue to grow. We have hit Christian recording artist Colton Dixon in the house. Now, people say, Colton Dixon's in the house? Yes, Colton Dixon's in the house. So if you like top 40 Christian music, Colton Dixon's going to be in the house performing. The lineup will continue to grow each and every day. We're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup. But I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, when's it going to be? June 27th and 28th. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And so it says Tulsa, Jerusalem. I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa, Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrive Time Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. So when? June 27th and 28th. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
James, did I tell you my good friend John Lee Dumas is also joining us at the in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show Business Workshop? That Tim Tebow and that Michael Levine will be at. Have I told you this?
You have not told me that.
Oh, he's coming all the way from Puerto Rico. This is John Lee Dumas, the host of the chart-topping EOFire.com podcast. He's absolutely a living legend. This guy started a podcast after wrapping up his service in the United States military, and he started recording this podcast daily in his home, to the point where he started interviewing big-time folks like Gary Vaynerchuk, like Tony Robbins, and he just kept interviewing bigger and bigger names, putting out shows day after day. And now he is the legendary host of the EO Fire podcast, and he's traveling all the way from Puerto Rico to Tulsa, Oklahoma to attend the in-person June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop. If you're out there today, folks, you've ever wanted to grow a podcast, a broadcast, you want to improve your marketing, if you've ever wanted to improve your marketing, your branding, if you've ever wanted to increase your sales, you want to come to the 2-day interactive June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show Business Workshop featuring Tim Tebow, Michael Levine, John Lee Dumas, and countless big-time super successful entrepreneurs. It's going to be life-changing. Get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. James, what website is that?
thrivetimeshow.com.
James, one more time with more enthusiasm.
thrivetimeshow.com.
Shot everything rides on tonight. Even if I got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it. I'm not to be played with because it could get dangerous. See these people I ride with. This moment, we own it.
Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done his show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
Well, first of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? And I said, no. And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed to the business owner to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business, and I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I'm not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side.
Once I saw what they were doing, I knew I had to get here at the conference. This is probably the best conference or seminar I've ever been to in over 30 years in business.
You're not bored. You're awake, alive the whole time. It's not pushy. They don't try to sell you a bunch of things.
I was looking to learn how to just get control of my life, my schedule, and just get control of the business.
Planning your time, breaking it all down, making time for the F6 in your life, and just really implementing it and sticking with the program.
It's really lively. They're pretty friendly, helpful, very welcoming.
I attended a conference a couple months back, and it was really the best business conference I've ever attended.
At the workshop, I've learned a lot about time management, really prioritizing what's the most important.
Biggest takeaways are, you want to take a step-by-step approach to your business. Whether it's marketing, what are those 3 marketing tools that you want to use, to human resources.
Now, some of the most successful people and successful businesses in this town, their owners were here today because they wanted to know more from Clay, and I found that to be kind of fascinating.
The most valuable thing that I've learned is diligence, that businesses don't change overnight. It takes time and effort, and you got to go through the ups and downs of getting it to where you want to go.
He actually gives you the roadmap out. I was stuck, didn't know what to do, and he gave me the roadmap out step by step.
We've set up systems in the business that make my life much easier, allow me some time freedom.
Here you can ask any question you want. They guarantee it'll be answered.
This conference motivates me and also give me a lot of knowledge and tools.
It's up to you to do it. Everybody can do these things. There's stuff that everybody knows, but if you don't do it, nobody else can do it for you.
I can see the marketing working, and it's just an approach that makes sense.
Probably the most notable thing is just the income increase that we've had.
Everyone's super fun, it's super motivating. I've been here before, but I'm back again because it motivates me.
Your competition's going to come eventually, or try to pick up these tactics. So you better, if you don't, somebody else will.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. we're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
If you decide to not attend the Thrive Time workshop, you're missing out on a great opportunity.
The atmosphere of Clay's office is very lively. You can feel the energy as soon as you walk through the door, and it really got me and my team very excited.
If you decide not to come, you're missing out on an opportunity to grow your business. Bottom line.
Love the environment. I love the way that Clay presents and teaches. It's a way that not only allows me to comprehend what's going on, but he explains it in a way to where it just makes sense.
The SEO optimization, branding, marketing. I've learned more in the last 2 days than I have the entire 4 years of college.
The most valuable thing that I've learned, marketing is key. Marketing is everything.
Making sure that you're branded accurately and clearly. How to grow a business using Google reviews, and then just how to optimize our name through our website also.
Helpful with a lot of marketing, search engine optimization, helping us really rank high in Google.
The biggest thing I needed to learn was how to build my foundation, how to systemize everything and optimize everything, build my SEO.
How to become more organized, more efficient.
How to make sure the business is really there to serve me as opposed to me constantly being there for the business.
New ways of advertising my business as well as recruiting new employees.
Group interviews, number one. Before we felt like we were held hostage by our employees. Group interviews has completely eliminated that because you're able to really find the people that would really be the best fit.
Hands-on how to hire people, how to deal with human resources, a lot about marketing, and overall just how to structure the business, how it works for me, and also then how that can translate into working better for my clients.
The most valuable thing I've learned here is time management.
I like the 1 hour of doing your business. It is real critical if I'm going to grow and change.
Clay really teaches you how to navigate through those things and not only find freedom, but find your purpose in your business and find the purposes for all those other people that directly affect your business as well.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Everyone needs to attend the conference because you get an opportunity to see that it's real.